Imagine stepping into the world with an unshakable presence, moving with the quiet certainty of someone who already belongs at the very top, where the air is thin but the view is boundless. Picture yourself speaking with a newfound clarity, walking with a defined purpose that attracts respect, effortlessly transforming from someone plagued by doubt into someone defined by decisive action. There is a life you deep down know you are meant to live, a target burning in your soul, but the stakes are high. If you allow yourself to keep waiting to feel ready, to feel courageous, to feel certain, you might find yourself waiting forever, paralyzed by the illusion of needing permission or perfect conditions. Yet, if you choose to move now, with the fire in your belly, you change everything. In the moments ahead, you will uncover the potent secret of acting as if you fear nothing, unlocking a mindset that doesn't just attract success and opportunity, but fundamentally defeats the limitations you perceive standing in your way, revealing the boundless potential that lies dormant within you. Understand this profound truth. Every limitation you have ever perceived, every boundary that seems rigidly carved into the structure of the world, every ceiling that feels unbreakable, every wall that stands like an insurmountable barrier before your most cherished dreams, these are not external forces imposed upon you by reality itself. They are, in their deepest essence, internal constructs, mental barricades meticulously manufactured piece by piece within the confines of your own mind. And once this liberating truth is understood, not merely intellectually but absorbed into the core of your being, life itself transforms. Limitations are not facts of the external world. They are merely solidified beliefs, and beliefs, thankfully, are not steel bars of a prison. They are shadows dissipating instantly the moment the bright, courageous light of intentional thought is shone upon them. The individual who permits fear to rule their thoughts, to dictate their internal dialogue, becomes tragically enslaved to these imaginary barriers, living a life far smaller than their potential. But the one who rises with an unwavering faith in their own inherent capacity, who dares to challenge the perceived boundaries, begins the exhilarating journey toward true mastery, toward a life defined not by constraint, but by expansive possibility. Consider the legendary life of Hannibal Barca, the Carthaginian general, a figure trained from youth to defy the very notion of impossibility. At a time when the formidable power of Rome seemed to tower unchallenged over the Mediterranean world, Hannibal led his army on a feat widely deemed suicidal, marching across the treacherous, snow-bound peaks of the Alps. With elephants, seasoned infantry, and an almost incomprehensible resolve, he carved a path through frozen landscapes, descended upon Rome's very doorstep, unleashing a challenge that echoed through history. His path was not one paved with ease or certainty. It was brutally carved through ice, exhaustion, fear, and treacherous terrain that claimed countless lives. Yet through each trial, each devastating loss, each seemingly impossible obstacle, he steadfastly refused to let fear define his fate or dictate his advance. What fueled this extraordinary audacity, this relentless forward motion in the face of overwhelming odds? It was not luck. It was not external validation or approval from others. It was, at its core, the radical absence of internal fear as a governing force. Hannibal was not ignorant of the colossal difficulties and the very real dangers he faced. He simply refused to worship them, refused to grant them the ultimate power to halt his progress. He refused to bend before the crippling fear of rejection or the paralyzing dread of potential failure. Instead, he stepped forward, time after time, acting with unyielding faith in his purpose and his capacity, even where others, less resolute, retreated in doubt, preferring the perceived safety of inaction. His enduring legacy, the historical impact he left, was the natural, inevitable consequence of this unwavering courage, this refusal to be internally bound. Every single human being, at the threshold of every opportunity, every challenge, is presented with a fundamental defining choice: to act boldly in the direction of their purpose, or to retreat in fear, shackled by hesitation. The former choice is the pathway to growth, expansion, and fulfillment. The latter, sadly, leads only to stagnation, decay, and unrealized potential. Most people, sadly, live their lives shackled to the familiar comforts of their established zones, tragically mistaking safety, which is often merely stagnation, for genuine peace. But real peace, the kind that nourishes the soul and empowers the spirit, comes only when a person moves boldly, intentionally, and consistently in the direction of their deepest purpose, confronting uncertainty not with dread, but with the quiet, centered calmness of one who trusts profoundly in their inner power and resilience. Fear, you see, is a master deceiver. It is a liar that whispers insidious untruths, telling you that you are not ready, not worthy, not capable of pursuing your dreams. It hisses that failure is a catastrophic end, that rejection is a form of death, meant to stop you in your tracks forever. But these are lies designed to keep you small and stationary. Failure is not an end. It is a rigorous, invaluable education. Rejection is not a final judgment. It is often a necessary redirection, a signpost pointing you towards a better path, a more aligned opportunity. Both are indispensable steps on the challenging yet ultimately rewarding staircase of greatness. The only real danger, the true silent killer of dreams, of potential, of a life fully lived, is inaction. To dissolve the limitations that feel so real, you must act, not wait endlessly for perfect conditions, not merely hope for a better moment to miraculously appear, and certainly not pray for the path to be cleared before you begin. Action is the powerful alchemy that transforms the seemingly impossible into the beautifully inevitable. And bold action, action unburdened by the paralyzing need for guaranteed outcomes, action unchained from the craving for absolute certainty, action taken in the face of internal resistance, is the unmistakable mark of all high achievers, of all those who leave a significant mark on the world. Boldness is not synonymous with recklessness. It is profound alignment with your true self and your purpose. It is the courageous refusal to betray your inner vision, to let your dreams die from inaction. It is the consistent discipline to act forward in the face of fear, precisely because one understands at the deepest level that the fear itself is not the fundamental reality. Only the dream, the vision, the purpose is truly real and worth pursuing. You are in your deepest essence far greater than any obstacle that could ever present itself before you. This is not merely a hopeful mantra to repeat. It is a fundamental truth, written into the very fabric of your being, into the blueprint of your potential. Every obstacle you encounter, every challenge you face, every difficulty that arises, is not a sign to stop. It is in fact simply an invitation, a powerful summons to rise to a higher level of strength, of understanding, of capacity. And those who answer the call, who choose to rise, who dare to act, who persist relentlessly in the direction of their vision, discover, often with astonishment, that the walls they feared were never truly real, that the ceilings they believed were unbreakable were merely illusions created by limited thinking, that the boundaries they perceived were nothing more than thoughts, and thoughts, unlike external reality, can be changed, dissolved, transcended. There is a silent, indestructible fire burning within the core of every person, a raw, potent will to create, to achieve, to overcome. It often sleeps, lying dormant and hidden under the heavy weight of doubt, fear, and inaction. But it awakens with breathtaking power when summoned by a clear, burning purpose, ignited by courageous, intentional action. When you choose to act with fearless belief, when you move forward despite the fear, this inner fire becomes your unwavering guide. It will illuminate the path through the thickest fog of uncertainty. It will burn down the hesitant bridges of doubt you might be tempted to retreat across. Greatness, lasting impact, a life fully realized, it belongs not to those who merely wish for it, not to those who analyze endlessly from the sidelines, but to those who dare to act with faith, power, and conviction. The ones who move before the conditions are perfect, understanding that perfect never arrives. The ones who are willing to build their wings mid-flight, trusting that the act of leaping will reveal the way. These are the true builders of empires, the authors of change, the individuals who reshape reality. The chains holding any man or woman captive are not forged by society, by external circumstances, or by other people. They are fundamentally formed in thought, constructed by fear and doubt. And the single powerful key to breaking those self-imposed chains is action. Courageous, purposeful, unwavering action. Step forward into the uncertainty. Move despite the fear. The chains will loosen, the walls will crumble. The world, finding itself unable to stop your determined advance, will eventually make way. You are not limited by your circumstances or your fears. You are limitless in your potential, but only through action will you prove this truth to yourself and to the world. Indeed, in the invisible, yet incredibly potent workshop of the mind resides a force more powerful, more transformative than all the armies and empires of the world combined. The power of thought, consciously directed and fearlessly held. It is this potent internal force that carves out one's destiny, sculpts one's character, and lays the foundational cornerstone of every significant achievement, every lasting legacy. Every man or woman who has ever risen from obscurity to achieve greatness has first and most importantly mastered their own thought process. Dare to act as if fear does not exist, as if you are already the person you aspire to be, and observe with a sense of wonder how swiftly your external environment begins to rearrange itself to meet your new internal standard, to align with your unwavering belief. Fear is not a tangible reality, it is merely a thought, a fleeting mental construct clothed in the insidious garments of doubt and uncertainty. Cast it aside, refuse to be governed by it, and your true self, your powerful, capable essence, begins to emerge, unburdened and free to act. The person who consciously learns to dominate their internal fear, to look it in the eye and act anyway, becomes the undisputed master of their fate and the true captain of their soul's journey. Your thoughts, like seeds, give rise to your beliefs. These beliefs, deeply held, drive your subsequent actions. Repeated actions, taken consistently, solidify into habits, and these habits collectively build the enduring reality in which you dwell. Therefore, to fundamentally change your world, to elevate your circumstances, you must begin by changing your thoughts. All authentic progress, all sustainable wealth, all lasting peace begins first within the internal landscape of the mind. A man who cultivates and holds a firm, unwavering belief in his purpose, in his mission, in his capacity, begins inevitably to carry himself differently in the world. His eyes are set with a clear, focused determination. His words carry not just sound, but palpable power and conviction. He takes bold action, not because he possesses a crystal ball revealing the guaranteed outcome, but because he knows deep down that his cause is just, his vision is worthy, and his inner drive is undeniable. And in response to this inner certainty and outward action, the world, almost as if yielding to a natural force, begins to shift. Doors that were previously closed mysteriously open. Circumstances that seemed insurmountable begin to rearrange themselves. Opportunities appear, fortunes begin to align, possibility expands. Meanwhile, the man who is governed by fear, who allows doubt to dictate his decisions, delays, hesitates, finds endless reasons why success is not for him, why the timing isn't right, why he isn't enough. He spends his life watching passively from the sidelines while others rise, remaining a voluntary servant to the imaginary chains forged by his own doubt and inaction. To think without the heavy burden of fear is to unlock the floodgates of your potential. It is to enter the exhilarating realm of boundless possibility, where dreams take flight. It is to plant your flag firmly on the summit of your highest dreams in your mind, declaring your intention before the arduous climb has even physically begun. History does not primarily honor the cautious or the hesitant. It honors the bold thinkers, the courageous doers, the men and women who believed fiercely in themselves, in their vision, in their capacity, even when the entire world doubted them, when the odds seemed impossible. The builders of bridges, the dreamers of empires, the authors of progress, the architects of peace, their most significant victories were born not in the sterile soil of certainty, but in the fertile ground of courageous imagination, fueled by fearless thought and decisive action. Ask yourself honestly and searchingly in this very moment, what reality am I actively shaping with my current patterns of thought? What grand vision, what noble aspiration have I tragically buried beneath the suffocating weight of fear and doubt? And perhaps most importantly, what extraordinary person could I become? What incredible reality could I create if I chose deliberately to think only of success, only of possibility, only of forward motion? You are never truly defeated by external forces or circumstance. Defeat, if it comes, begins and solidifies first within the mind. Adopt the mindset of the victor, the mindset of the creator. See yourself vividly and clearly as the person you wish to become, the person who has already achieved the dreams you hold, and then crucially begin to act accordingly, letting your actions flow from this internal conviction. Seep as if you not only expect the future, but as if you command its very unfolding. Walk as if the ground beneath your feet was specifically made, specifically prepared for your unique journey. Choose thoughts deliberately and consistently that uplift, that empower, that clarify your vision, and that direct you relentlessly toward your highest aim. Because when you choose to think fearlessly, when your mind is aligned with possibility rather than limitation, you do not wait passively for permission or for opportunities to appear. You actively create the opportunities through your focused intention and your bold action. Every magnificent building that touches the sky, every groundbreaking innovation that reshapes our world, every personal triumph that inspires us, each one existed first, in its entirety, as just a thought held firmly and fearlessly in the mind of an individual who dared to believe and to act. Now, the powerful defining question is, what reality will you choose to create with the force of your fearless thought and purposeful action? Guard your thoughts diligently, for they are the fertile seeds of your destiny. Think boldly, think clearly, align your inner world with your highest aspirations, and let the immense untapped power within you rise to shape the world around you, one conscious thought and one courageous action at a time. Furthermore, cultivating this fearless mindset fundamentally transforms your relationship with adversity. It turns setbacks, those inevitable stumbles on the path, not into crushing defeats, but into powerful stepping stones, propelling you forward. Every man or woman who dares to seek a life that rises above the comfortable plateau of mediocrity must at some point come face to face with adversity. It is not a question of if, but of when. Life's setbacks, disappointments, and failures are not possibilities, they are certainties. But here lies a profound secret, known intimately only by those who have tasted the sweet fruit of enduring greatness. Your fundamental attitude, your internal interpretation, your chosen response towards those setbacks determines, more than any external factor, your ultimate trajectory. You see, most people, when they stumble and fall, tend to remain on the ground, paralyzed by the perceived failure. They curse their misfortune, they question their worthiness, they sink into despair, allowing a single event to define their entire capability. But the man or woman who is truly determined, the one who has fixed their unwavering vision upon a burning purpose that transcends temporary discomfort, sees the setback not as a punishment imposed by a cruel universe, but as essential preparation, as invaluable data, as a necessary refining fire. There is immense power in this shift of perspective, this internal reinterpretation. There is deep wisdom in learning to analyze failure dispassionately, to interpret it not as a sign of your inadequacy, but as crucial feedback, as a lesson learned. When you adopt this mindset, when you consciously choose to act fearlessly, even in the face of repeated defeat, when you rise each time you fall, something truly miraculous begins to happen. Your failures cease to be burdens. They become fuel, powerful accelerants for your growth and future success. Consider the remarkable story of Alexander Graham Bell. His audacious vision of transmitting the human voice across vast distances was for years considered wildly improbable, even laughable by many of his contemporaries. In his laboratory, he encountered breakdown after frustrating breakdown. His early prototypes failed repeatedly. His ideas were challenged. His efforts met with skepticism. Yet not once did he surrender to despair or succumb to the pervasive doubt surrounding him. He saw each failed attempt not as evidence of impossibility, but as essential instruction, as invaluable data points. Each error was not a setback, but a teacher, revealing what didn't work. Each delay was not a hindrance, but a sharpening stone, refining his understanding and his approach. And so, with relentless faith in his purpose, fueled by a belief in possibility, he pressed on, integrating the lessons from each failure. His numerous setbacks became not barriers but powerful stepping stones, and those stones led directly to the revolutionary invention of the telephone, a device that forever altered human communication and connection. What then will you choose to do with your inevitable setback? Shall you treat them as heavy chains, allowing them to bind you to the ground? Or will you seize them as powerful chisels to sculpt the future you envision? The most profound transformation you can undergo is to deeply embrace the liberating idea that absolutely nothing is wasted. Not the pain of effort, not the sting of rejection, not the lessons of failure. Every experience, every outcome is either a valuable lesson or a powerful lever for future progress. It is not fundamentally what happens to you that matters most in life. It is what you choose to do with what happens to you. Fearless living is not characterized by the absence of failure, which is unrealistic. It is characterized by the absence of defeatism, by an unyielding spirit that refuses to be defined or stopped by temporary stumble. It is the deep-seated belief that adversity is always temporary, a passing phase, and that you, by virtue of your inner power and chosen attitude, possess the inherent capacity to overcome it, to rise above it, to integrate its lessons. When you consistently choose to think in this manner, you begin to see the world with startling clarity. Obstacles are not impediments standing in the way of your path. Obstacles are the way, the essential tests, the necessary challenges that build the strength required for your journey. The man or woman who conquers their circumstances is the one who never permits a temporary setback, however painful, to become a permanent condition defining their reality. They rise again and again after each fall, and each time they rise, they ascend with more wisdom gained, more strength forged, more unwavering resolve solidified. Setbacks, viewed through this lens, are often the universe's way of rigorously testing the sincerity of your desire, the depth of your commitment. They knock you down and ask in no uncertain terms, how badly do you truly want this? How committed are you to your vision? They challenge your resolve, your belief in yourself and your purpose. And if your answer expressed through your unwavering attitude and persistent action is firm, if your spirit remains unbroken, if your belief is unshaken, then you will pass the test, prove your worthiness, and move forward with accelerated momentum to claim your prize. So, when failure, disappointment, or a setback knocks on your door, welcome it not as an enemy, but as a messenger carrying vital information. Ask it calmly and curiously, what are you here to teach me? What lesson do I need to learn from this experience? And once you have extracted the wisdom, integrated the feedback, and learned the lesson, move forward with renewed speed and unwavering certainty. Do not dwell endlessly on what went wrong. Do not descend into self-pity or blame. Let your trained mind dominate your circumstances, your interpretation, your response, rather than allowing your circumstances to dictate your inner state. The giants of industry, the pioneers of invention, the leaders of change throughout history, they all share this defining trait. They used setbacks not as reasons to stop, but as staircases to ascend higher. Your journey, should you choose to pursue a life of meaning and impact, will not be without its trials, its difficulties, its moments of perceived failure. But if you cultivate this powerful attitude, if you view each challenge as a test, and each setback as a lesson or a lever, each trial will inevitably make you stronger, wiser, and closer to the realization of your greatest goals. Let your setbacks sharpen your vision, clarifying what truly matters. Let them refine your purpose, stripping away the inessential. Let them build within you a fortitude, a resilience, an unyielding spirit that no external force, no criticism, no disappointment can ultimately break. Because in truth, in the grand tapestry of a life lived bravely and intentionally, there is no such thing as ultimate failure. There are only lessons learned and stepping stones built for the next stage of your ascent. Your attitude is the compass that navigates these moments. Let it point unwaveringly toward growth, toward learning, toward victory. This way of living is not just about navigating challenges. Fundamentally, it unlocks your true, inherent potential that often lies dormant, hidden behind the lock of fear and hesitation. There comes a moment, often disguised in the quiet uncertainty of everyday choices, when the path forward is not brightly lit by certainty, but obscured by the heavy fog of doubt and potential risk. At that crucial threshold, a person must make a defining decision, whether to pause, to hesitate, to remain paralyzed by fear, or to press forward despite the uncertainty. Fear, you see, is the lock that bars the door to your destiny, to the expansive life you are capable of living, keeping your greatest potential confined. But action, decisive, courageous action taken in the face of that fear, is the only key that can turn the tumblers and swing that door wide open. You were not born to hesitate indefinitely. You were not designed in your deepest essence to shrink back from possibility in the face of perceived risk. The same incredible mind that has the capacity to create elaborate fears and conjure terrifying worst-case scenarios also contains within its very structure the immense power to overcome those fears. and the primary, most effective means by which that power is unleashed is simple, yet profoundly effective. Take action. Every single man and woman who has left an indelible mark upon the world, who has achieved anything truly significant, has done so not by being fearless in the absence of fear, but by moving forward consistently in spite of fear. They felt it, the nervous energy, the doubt, the uncertainty, but they did not obey its paralyzing command. They understood intuitively or through hard-won experience that action is the powerful force that breeds genuine confidence, while inaction is the fertile ground that feeds doubt, allowing it to grow and solidify its hold. Consider the inspiring journey of Andrew Carnegie. He was certainly not born into wealth or privilege. His beginnings were humble, his early resources scarce, his formal education limited, but within him burned a spirit, an inner drive that refused to wait for permission, for ideal circumstances to magically align. He acted boldly, driven by a vision of industry so grand it must have seemed foolish, even impossible, to many around him. He started small, delivering telegrams in his youth, working long hours, observing, learning, absorbing the world around him. And then, step by fearless step, he began to build. He invested his meager early earnings in himself, in knowledge, in opportunity. He surrounded himself with wise mentors and capable men. And this consistent, courageous action, this willingness to move forward despite uncertainty, multiplied his capabilities exponentially. That fearless action awakened within him strengths, talents, and a business acumen that would have otherwise remained dormant, untapped. And from those simple beginnings, fueled by action and belief, Mr. Carnegie rose to become one of the greatest industrialists the world has ever known. This, then, is an eternal law of progress and potential. When you choose to move forward with boldness, even small steps, life, the universe, begins to move with you, responding to your commitment. You do not need to see the entire staircase stretching out before you, perfectly illuminated. Before you take the first step, you simply must begin. The act of beginning, of initiating motion, even if imperfectly, even if with trembling knees, starts a powerful chain reaction. You begin to unlock ideas that were just beyond your conscious grasp, to attract resources that were previously invisible, to forge relationships that were waiting just beyond the door of your hesitation. Within you right now are abilities you have not yet touched, talents not yet tested, powers lying dormant, waiting impatiently to be summoned into existence. And they do not awaken through thought alone, through wishful thinking, or through endless planning. They awaken through action, through being put to the test, through being called upon in the arena of real-world challenges. Do not wait for the fear to miraculously vanish before you act. Move while it is still present, recognizing it as the signal that you are on the edge of growth. Every single step you take forward through the fear diminishes its hold, lessens its power over you, and soon, sooner than you think, you will look back at where you started and wonder why you ever doubted your immense strength, why you ever allowed fear to keep you small. The great difference between those who achieve their dreams and those who only ever hold them as distant wishes is rarely talent, circumstance, or luck. It is most often initiative. It is the defining ability to say clearly and with conviction, "Though I feel fear right now, I will act anyway. My purpose is greater than this feeling." Action is the powerful alchemist that transforms vision into tangible reality, that turns the invisible stirrings of your soul into manifest form. It is the essential bridge from imagination to manifestation, the force that transforms the intangible into the tangible. And the more fearlessly you choose to act, consistently, the more powerful, the more capable, the more unstoppable you become, not because the world outside has changed, but because you have changed within. Fear is clever, it is cunning. It often disguises itself as logic, as prudent caution, as rational analysis, but its true singular aim is always the same, to keep you exactly where you are, comfortable but confined, stalled in your growth. And where you are right now is likely not, in your heart of hearts, where you are meant to stay, where you are meant to finish. So I ask you now, directly and urgently, what dream have you been delaying? What powerful idea have you left untouched, gathering dust in the corners of your mind? What significant goal lies waiting for you just behind the lock of fear and hesitation? The key to unlocking it is already in your possession. It is within you, in your capacity for conscious choice and action. Use it. Make the decision to move. Take the first step, however small or uncertain it feels. Speak the words that need to be spoken. Make the call that terrifies you. Start the project you've been postponing. Move, because it is only in motion, in courageous forward movement, that your true power is revealed. that your hidden abilities are called forth. You will not know the depth of your true strength until you are tested by action. You will not fully discover your boundless potential until you take the leap, until you step off the comfortable ledge of certainty into the exhilarating unknown. Fear loses its suffocating grip the very moment you take fearless action, and in that moment you begin to rise, not just in your circumstances, but in your very being. Remember, fear is the lock, but you hold the key forged in your capacity for action. Turn it, step through the door, and walk boldly into the greatness that awaits you. It is a common misunderstanding, one that must be shattered for you to step into your full power, that acting fearlessly means the complete absence of fear itself. No man or woman who ever accomplished anything truly great, anything that reshaped the world or their own life, was entirely without fear. Fear is a natural biological response, a signal. The fundamental difference between the average person who remains limited and the person of destiny, the one who achieves the extraordinary, is this: the latter moves forward despite the presence of fear, recognizing its signal but refusing its command to halt. Courage is not some innate trait reserved for heroes or mythical figures. It is not born in the comfortable absence of risk or uncertainty. It is forged, hammered into existence, in the intense fire of uncertainty, in those crucial moments when the path ahead is obscured, the outcome unknown, and the internal voice of doubt is loudest. To act with courage in those moments is to send a powerful affirmation to the universe, and more importantly to your own subconscious mind, that your purpose, your vision, your commitment is undeniably stronger than your fear. Consider the unwavering courage of Ulysses S. Grant. As a military leader, he was no stranger to fear. In battle, he often faced overwhelming odds, devastating losses, and terrifying uncertainty. Yet it was not his circumstances that ultimately defined his legacy or the outcome of the war, but the courageous decisions he made within those circumstances, the actions he took when others hesitated. When his officers doubted, he commanded the advance. When others retreated, he pressed forward. It was this consistent, courageous action, taken again and again in the face of intense fear and uncertainty, that ultimately turned the tides of battle, won wars that seemed unwinnable, and changed the course of history. Grant did not sit idly by, waiting to feel courageous before acting. He chose courage. He acted courageously, and in choosing and acting upon courage again and again, moment by defining moment, he became the very embodiment of courage. So must you in your own arena, in your own life's battles. Fear is not the enemy meant to destroy you. Fear is the signal, a powerful indicator that you are approaching the edge of your current comfort zone, stepping beyond the familiar boundaries of what is known and safe, into the territory of growth and expansion. It appears precisely when you are on the verge of something new, something challenging, something that will expand you, and in that moment it presents you with a fundamental choice. It can either halt your progress, sending you scurrying back to perceived safety, or it can fuel your rise, becoming the energy that propels you forward. Courage is simply the choice to move anyway, to act despite the fears present. Every single time you choose to act with courage, to speak up, to take a risk, to move forward, you reinforce a powerful truth within your own being. I am capable. With each brave decision, each courageous action taken in the face of doubt, you begin to actively sculpt a new identity for yourself, one not governed by perceived limitations or fear, but one powerfully led by bold vision and unwavering purpose. Understand this clearly. Courage is not a singular dramatic event that happens only once in a lifetime. It is a habit, a muscle to be exercised, a consistent practice woven into the fabric of your daily life. It is not reserved exclusively for heroes or extraordinary circumstances. It is available to you right here, right now, in the seemingly everyday choices you face. To speak your truth, however inconvenient or scary, when silence would be infinitely easier. To take that first step towards a new goal when staying still feels safe and comfortable. To stand alone for what you believe is right, even when it means risking disapproval. These are not necessarily grand, dramatic, headline-grabbing acts. They are simple, deliberate decisions, small acts of bravery repeated consistently over time. And these are the acts that fundamentally change a life, building momentum, building resilience, building the person you are becoming. Courage is the quiet, consistent power that builds unstoppable momentum. It doesn't always announce itself with a roar. Sometimes it is simply a quiet whisper that says, "Just try again tomorrow." And the profound beauty of courage, like compounding interest, is this: it compounds. Every act of bravery, no matter how small or unnoticed by others, becomes a deposit in the invaluable bank of self-belief. Over time, this reserve of inner strength, this accumulated evidence of your capacity, becomes unshakable. You begin to trust yourself implicitly, not because you are fearless, but because you have faced fear and acted anyway. You begin to face challenges not with debilitating dread, but with a quiet readiness, knowing you have navigated uncertainty before and emerged stronger. The man or woman who chooses courage daily, who consistently acts in the face of fear, becomes a force the world cannot ignore, cannot easily divert. So ask yourself now, with honest introspection, what would you truly do if the paralyzing grip of fear were momentarily released? What action have you been delaying? What dream postponing, specifically because fear has held the reins of your decision? And even more importantly, what might become exquisitely possible in your life, in your impact, if you decided just once, or perhaps consistently from this moment forward, to act in spite of that fear's presence, to move forward regardless of its whisper? This is your invitation, a call to step into your power. Choose courage, not as a rare event, but as a daily practice. Speak your truth boldly. Decide swiftly where hesitation has held you back. Act deliberately, aligning your actions with your purpose, because each and every time you do, you step further away from limitation and closer to the person you were always meant to be. Courage is not something you magically find waiting for you. It is something you consciously choose, moment by moment, and in choosing it consistently, you change everything about your internal state and your external reality. Fear may visit you. It may walk alongside you on the path, but it no longer governs your direction. You are not led by doubt or held back by the terrifying possibility of what might go wrong. You are powerfully moved, compelled forward by the burning certainty of what must go right, of what is waiting for you to create. Let courage be your unwavering compass, guiding you through uncertainty, and you will never truly lose your way on the journey towards your highest potential. For in this life, the bold do not passively wait for strength to arrive. They actively create it. One brave action, one courageous choice, one deliberate step at a time. Fundamentally, choosing to act fearlessly doesn't just guide your actions, it eliminates the insidious grip of doubt, that crippling force more debilitating to the human spirit than almost any external challenge. Doubt whispers lies, feeds endless hesitation, and relentlessly stalls progress, leaving dreams unrealized and potential untapped. Doubt is the silent thief of dreams, a corrosive force, but there is a profound truth, a liberating insight that must be understood by all who aspire to greatness, to a life of meaning and impact. Doubt paralyzes, fearlessness liberates. When you choose to take bold, unwavering action, when you dare to move forward with conviction despite the presence of fear, doubt cannot survive in the light of that action. It fades, it retreats, it dissolves like mist in the morning sun. Why? Because doubt has no real power of its own. It is merely the shadow cast by fear, and shadows vanish instantly in the bright light of decisive, purposeful action. Consider the life and impact of Susan B. Anthony, a woman who fundamentally changed the course of history through fearless living. In a time when the world, its laws, its customs, its societal norms, told her repeatedly to remain silent, to accept the status quo, when deeply entrenched systems resisted her every word, her every effort, she moved forward anyway, relentlessly. She did not wait for external approval from a society that opposed her. She did not allow the pervasive doubt of others or even her own fleeting moments of uncertainty to dictate her destiny or slow her advance. Her mission was crystal clear, burning brightly within her justice, equality, and the unshakable belief in the inherent dignity and rights of every single human being. With each act of defiance against injustice, each public speech that risked ridicule or arrest, each step forward in the face of overwhelming opposition, she didn't just chip away at external barriers, she actively erased the doubt that lay in her path, not just for herself, but carving a path of possibility for generations of women to follow. Her unwavering, fearless commitment to her purpose, expressed through relentless action, silenced uncertainty both within herself and eventually in the world, carving a path where none had seemed to exist before. And what she did, you too hold the power to do in your own life's mission. Understand this clearly: the moment you decide with your whole heart and soul to believe in your mission, in your purpose, in yourself, doubt loses its power to govern you. It can no longer sway your judgment, no longer dictate your decisions, no longer delay your crucial actions indefinitely. You become powerfully immune to its crippling grip because your vision, your purpose, your belief has become significantly more powerful than your fear or your doubt. It is not doubt itself that stops you on your journey. It is your tolerance of it, your willingness to allow it to linger, to listen to its lies, to permit it to paralyze you. When you choose to move with clarity, fueled by purpose, when you commit to your mission fully and unequivocally, something profound and empowering happens. You stop passively asking for signs or waiting for the right moment to appear, because you understand that you are not a passive recipient of destiny, but the active creator of moments, the architect of your own opportunities. You begin to believe not because the world outside validates you with applause or approval, but because you have validated yourself through your courageous action and unwavering commitment. Fearless action is the most potent cure for doubt. It silences the inner voice that whispers, "What if I fail?" and replaces it with the exhilarating, empowering question, "What if I succeed beyond measure?" Doubt thrives in stillness, in delay, in overthinking, in the absence of momentum, but it cannot coexist in the presence of motion, of deliberate forward movement. When you take the first step, no matter how uncertain you feel, no matter how small it seems, you begin to actively rob doubt of its foundation, chipping away at its perceived power. With each bold move you make, you actively fortify your belief in yourself and your capacity. With each brave decision you take in the face of uncertainty, your confidence expands, pushing doubt further into the shadows. Do not wait to feel certain before you act. Certainty is not a prerequisite for taking action. It is overwhelmingly the result of taking action, built through accumulated experience and evidence of your capacity. Think on this deeply. How many brilliant dreams have tragically died in the waiting rooms of doubt, endlessly postponed? How many incredible talents have gone unseen, unheard, unutilized because their owner listened to the paralyzing voice of fear and doubt instead of the calling of their potential? That must not, will not be your story. The world ultimately rewards those who move, who risk, who dare to step into the arena, not because they possess no doubt, but because they possess an unyielding purpose and a spirit that refuses to bow to it. Doubt asks endless questions. Fearlessness gives powerful answers through action. Doubt delays indefinitely. Fearlessness decides and moves forward. Doubt hesitates and analyzes into paralysis. Fearlessness initiates and creates momentum. And in every single case, across every field of human endeavor, it is action, courageous, deliberate, purposeful action that transforms potential into reality, action that builds unshakable confidence, action that opens doors to unforeseen opportunity. You have within you a mission, a purpose, a unique contribution that was given to no one else in the world. Do not, under any circumstances, let doubt dim its light or keep it hidden. Do not let fear write the story of your life, leaving chapters unwritten, potential unexplored. Choose belief over doubt. Choose clarity of purpose over confusion. Choose action over hesitation. Because when you choose to act fearlessly, consistently, and purposefully, you actively invite certainty into your life. You create unstoppable momentum. You forge unbreakable strength from within. Doubt cannot withstand the presence of a soul truly on fire with conviction and moving with intention. Let your purpose burn so brightly that it illuminates the path and overshadows your fear. Let your steps be so loud, so consistent, that they drown out the whispering voice of hesitation. Fearless action is not merely a feeling you wait to experience. It is a powerful, deliberate decision you make repeatedly. And with each decision, each step taken in the face of fear, you move further away from the crippling grip of doubt and closer to the realization of your destiny, closer to the extraordinary person you are capable of becoming. There is a great pervasive lie that echoes throughout society, a narrative that suggests confidence is some innate trait you are either born with or without, a gift bestowed upon a fortunate few while others remain forever timid and uncertain. Let this truth resonate deeply within you and shatter that limiting belief forever. Confidence is not inherited. It is not a birthright for a select group. It is earned, meticulously built, forged in the crucible of experience, and like any muscle in the human body, it grows stronger, more resilient, only when it is consistently used and challenged. Confidence is not the magical absence of doubt or fear. It is the profound, hard-won triumph over doubt, the unwavering decision to act consistently in spite of the internal voice that whispers, "You are not ready yet, you are not capable enough." Consider the transformative journey of Theodore Roosevelt. As a child, he was frail, physically weak, often plagued by sickness. He was timid, sheltered, and outwardly fragile. But at a defining moment, he made a conscious decision, not just once, but daily, consistently, to fundamentally transform himself from within. He subjected himself to rigorous physical training, pushing his body beyond its perceived limits. He engaged actively in public service, willingly stepping into the arena of leadership and facing intense scrutiny and opposition. He deliberately sought out trials and challenges that forced him to confront his limitations and his fears. And with every act of courage, every deliberate choice to step into discomfort, to face a challenge he might have avoided, he forged a new layer of confidence within his being. He did not passively wait to become confident before taking action, before pursuing his ambitions. He took action, consistent, courageous action, and from that action, confidence was born and solidified. You too possess this same transformative power within you. Imagine confidence not as a fixed trait, but as a wellspring, a deep reservoir within your soul. Each fearless decision you make, each step you take despite uncertainty, is like adding a drop to that wellspring. Each challenge you embrace, each uncomfortable conversation you initiate, each risk you take that expands your boundaries, is like adding a stream of momentum to that reservoir. Every time you choose to speak up when it would be easier, safer to remain silent, every time you take the crucial first step towards a goal without possessing perfect knowledge of the second step, you add to your growing reservoir of self-assurance, of self-trust. Eventually, with enough consistent, courageous action, that reservoir overflows, changing your internal landscape and your external presence. You begin to walk differently, with a subtle authority. You speak with a new clarity and conviction that others notice. You make decisions more swiftly, without the paralyzing hesitation that once held you back, not because fear has miraculously vanished from your life, but because you have risen in strength and stature relative to it. Confidence is not a distant destination you one day arrive at. It is an ongoing practice, a daily discipline. It is built in the small, defining moments when you could shrink back into comfort or silence, but instead you choose to stand tall, to step forward. It is built when you feel most vulnerable, most uncertain, most exposed, yet you deliberately press forward anyway, trusting your capacity. It is built fundamentally when you courageously challenge the deeply ingrained belief, often whispered by fear, that you are not enough, not capable, not ready. Every great leader, every innovator, every man and woman who has accomplished something meaningful, something that resonates, began their journey with a single courageous act of faith in themselves, in their idea, in their capacity. That single act, taken in the face of uncertainty, led to another act and another, creating a powerful chain reaction of momentum and self-belief, until confidence became not just a desired state, but their very nature, who they were at their core. If you wait passively to feel ready before you begin, you will regrettably wait forever. The only way to truly become ready is to be ready by taking action, by stepping into the arena. Confidence grows through consistent exposure to challenges, through voluntarily placing yourself in situations that stretch your limit. Just as a muscle experiences micro-tears and rebuilds itself stronger after resistance training, so too does your self-belief strengthen and expand with each challenge faced and overcome. The more you consciously stretch your comfort zone, the greater your capacity for handling uncertainty becomes. The more you act consistently in alignment with your purpose and values, the more certain you grow of your path and your ability to navigate it. These courageous steps, these deliberate choices to move forward despite fear, are not random acts. They are reps, exercises in building internal strength. They are the heavy lifts of personal growth, and with each one you become stronger, more capable, more confident. And here lies the profound, compounding beauty. Confidence builds upon itself. Small victories earned through courageous action today become the solid foundation for bigger victories and greater challenges tomorrow. One courageous moment, one decision to act despite fear, plants the seed for a confident identity, and soon, through consistent practice, That identity blossoms and becomes who you are at your core, not by chance but by intentional design. The man or woman who takes consistent action in the face of fear becomes, over time, genuinely unstoppable. Their self-trust is not built on fantasy or wishful thinking, but on the undeniable evidence of their own actions. They have faced difficulty and they have persevered. They have moved without complete certainty, and yet they have still found solid ground beneath their feet. They have still made progress. They no longer need external applause or validation from others to feel capable or worthy. They know their own strength through lived experience. You have the power to become that person, to build that unshakable confidence, but it will not happen through passive thought alone, through reading or hoping. Confidence is not a theory to be studied. It is an experience to be lived, a practice to be embodied, a strength to be earned through action. Every single day, you are presented with these fundamental choices. Shrink back into the comfortable, known territory of your current limitations, or step forward, even just a small step, into the territory of growth and expanded potential. And every day you choose growth, you actively expand your potential, you strengthen your capacity, you build your confidence. You must begin to act as if that unshakable confidence is already fully within you, because in potential it truly is. You must walk, speak, and decide with the conviction of someone who knows, at a fundamental level, that confidence is not bestowed upon the chosen few, but built diligently by those who choose to act bravely. So start now. Start small if the steps feel daunting, but take that first courageous step, then the next, because with every courageous step you take, you build unstoppable momentum from within, and with enough momentum, nothing external can ultimately stop you from achieving your highest aspiration. Confidence is not something you passively wait for, hoping it will magically appear. It is something you actively create through your consistent, courageous action. And once you build it, once it becomes a part of your identity, you will walk into every room, face every challenge, pursue every dream, knowing with quiet, absolute certainty, I belong here, I am capable of this. Ultimately, this way of being, fueled by fearless action and built on inner strength, doesn't just impact your present, it ensures lasting success, the kind that endures and leaves a legacy. There is a kind of success that is fleeting, that flickers brightly for a brief moment like a candle flame caught in the wind, only to be extinguished and gone. But true, enduring success, the kind that spans decades, impacts generations, and withstands the inevitable storms of economic change, criticism, and chaos, is never built on fleeting emotions, temporary luck, or external validation. It is built, brick by brick, on a solid foundation of fearless action, resilient character, unwavering commitment, and relentless personal growth. Understand this deeply. The success that lasts, the greatness that endures, is not accidental. It is purposefully engineered, the direct result of consistent, courageous choices made over an extended period of time. It is not merely about achieving one significant milestone or accumulating external markers of success. It is about the profound process of becoming someone who achieves consistently, who rises after every fall, who navigates challenges with strength, precisely because of who they have become internally, what they believe about themselves, how they approach adversity, and how they choose to act under pressure. Consider the trajectory of Cornelius Vanderbilt, who began building his immense empire not with inherited wealth, not with powerful connections or privileged background, but with something far more foundational, a single, humble ferry boat operation. It was a small, modest venture, unassuming in appearance, but behind that humble start resided a spirit unwilling to be confined by perceived limitations, a mind capable of seeing beyond the immediate, a will determined to move forward. Miss Vanderbilt saw opportunity where others saw only risk, hesitated or played it safe. He pursued each chance with unwavering resolve and fearless decision-making, driven by a vision that extended far beyond a single boat. He expanded his operations, reinvested his earnings strategically, and dared to venture where others, more cautious, hesitated or retreated. Over time, fueled by consistent, courageous action and fearless commitment, that small ferry operation grew into a sprawling shipping and railroad empire that fundamentally redefined American industry and commerce. His wealth became immense, yes, but far more importantly, his impact and his success endured precisely because it was rooted not just in shrewd business sense, but in fearless vision and consistent, deliberate action taken daily. You must understand this crucial distinction. Temporary success can perhaps come to almost anyone through luck, fortunate timing, or a single good idea. But enduring greatness, lasting impact, is reserved for those who are willing to confront their fears not just once, but daily, consistently, as a fundamental way of being. Fear takes many forms. It may cleverly disguise itself as cautious prudence. It may appear as paralyzing hesitation, or wear the mask of logical risk assessment. But its ultimate goal is always the same: to stop you, to keep you stationary, to prevent you from moving forward towards your potential. The man or woman who achieves long-term enduring success does not somehow magically eliminate fear from their lives. They learn through practice and conscious choice to act in spite of it. They recognize that every moment of hesitation, every decision to delay out of fear, is not just a pause, it is a moment lost, an opportunity missed, a subtle step backward while the world continues to move forward. So they choose action. They choose courage, not just occasionally, but consistently, again and again, making it a habit. Real success, the kind that cannot be easily shaken by market crashes, external criticism, or unforeseen chaos, requires a solid, unbreakable core. And that core is built not from external circumstances, but from three foundational internal principles. 1. Fearless commitment to your vision and purpose. 2. Consistent action taken daily in alignment with that commitment. 3. Persistent courage to rise again and again after every fall, learning and growing stronger. Fearless commitment means you are all in, wholeheartedly dedicated to your purpose, not just when it is easy, not only when the odds seem favorable, but especially, crucially, when the terrain is uncertain, when the challenges are steepest, when doubt is loudest. You are not merely flirting with the idea of success, you are married to the process of achieving it, showing up for it every single day with unwavering dedication. Consistent action means putting in the necessary work, day in and day out, even when no one is watching, even when motivation wanes. It means taking bold steps, not just once in a while in a flash of inspiration, but making bold, purposeful movement a part of your daily routine. The man who acts boldly just once may taste a momentary victory, but the man who acts boldly daily, consistently, builds an empire of achievement and self-mastery. Persistent courage means you do not quit, you do not give up when you fall, when you stumble, when you face seemingly insurmountable resistance. You view every failure not as a reason to stop, but as fuel for your next attempt, every setback as a signal to learn, to adapt, to grow stronger, not weaker in your resolve. If you genuinely desire success that lasts, success that has meaning and impact, you must stop chasing shortcuts or quick fixes. You must stop passively waiting to feel ready or needing external applause to validate your effort. Instead, choose to build your success on the solid, unshakable ground of fearless action and consistent effort. Face your fears every single day, in ways big and small. Speak your truth when it feels uncomfortable. Take the necessary step that no one else dares to take. Say yes to the opportunities that scare you, that push you beyond your comfort zone. Lean into the challenges that others actively avoid, for that is where the greatest growth and the most valuable lessons reside. This is how enduring success is truly born. It does not arrive in a single day of grand triumph. It comes from the cumulative effect of thousands of courageous days, stacked one on top of another, each day adding a layer of strength, of resilience, of capacity. Each individual courageous act may seem small, even invisible to the outside world, unnoticed by others, but you will know its power. You will feel the fundamental shift happening within you. You will see the momentum build, day by day, action by action, and eventually, inevitably, others will see it too, not just in what you have achieved externally, but in who you have become internally, a person of unshakable resolve and quiet power. The world ultimately rewards those who persist with purpose, those who rise after every fall with lessons learned, those who dare to do the hard thing, not just once for show, but as a fundamental way of life. So do not settle for temporary glory, for a fleeting flash of brilliance that quickly fades. Do not be content with merely achieving. Aim for becoming. Aim for a legacy. Let your success be a monument to fearless living, to a spirit that refused to be confined. Let your journey be a master class in unshakable resolve and the power of the human spirit to overcome. Because when your actions are consistently fearless, when they flow from a place of deep commitment and courage, your success becomes not just impressive, but timeless, a lasting testament to the power within you. If courage is the powerful engine driving this fearless way of living, then optimism is the essential fuel that keeps that engine running, the spark that ignites the fire within, the unseen force that lifts you when the weight of the world threatens to hold you down. It is not merely a pleasant attitude, a naive hope, or a feel-good mindset divorced from reality. True, potent optimism is a powerful strategic weapon for those who intend to conquer fear, to overcome adversity, and to rise to their greatest potential. Understand this distinction clearly. Optimism is not the denial of difficulty, the pretending that problems don't exist. It is the conscious, deliberate decision to believe in possibility, to actively seek solutions, even while walking directly through the fire of challenge or setback. It is the unshakable choice to see beyond the immediate obstacle, however daunting it appears, and to actively look for the opportunity, the lesson, the potential path forward that it often hides within. Consider the remarkable journey and impact of Benjamin Franklin, a man who faced significant hardship, repeated failure, and widespread ridicule throughout his life. He was born into modest means, received limited formal education, and encountered countless setbacks in both his scientific pursuits and his political career. Yet despite these formidable challenges, he never sank into debilitating despair or crippling defeatism. Why? Because he chose optimism. He chose to believe that a solution was always possible, that a better future was always within reach. Through effort and ingenuity, he used every obstacle he faced not as a reason to stop, but as a stepping stone for further progress. Every rejection he encountered became a redirection, guiding him towards a more aligned or effective path. His fundamentally positive outlook, rooted in a belief in possibility, gave him the inner fortitude, the courage to persist relentlessly where others, less optimistic, gave up and faded away. Through this optimistic resilience, fueled by a belief in continuous improvement and possibility, Franklin became a renowned statesman, a brilliant inventor, a respected philosopher, and one of the foundational architects of a nation. His extraordinary achievements were not solely products of his intellect or talent. They were born, crucially, from an underlying belief that something better, something possible, was always within reach if he kept moving forward, kept learning, and kept believing. You must adopt this same powerful approach if you wish to transcend fear and limitation. Fear thrives in negativity. It feeds on worst-case scenarios, on imagined failures, on the pervasive belief that success is unlikely, that the odds are stacked against you. But when you consciously choose optimism, when you actively seek out the potential in every situation, you cut off fear's oxygen supply. You starve it. You rob fear of its momentum and its power to paralyze you. An optimistic person sees challenges not as insurmountable walls signaling a time to retreat, but as powerful signals, invitations to rise to a higher level of capacity and ingenuity. He or she believes, fundamentally, that there is always a way forward, a solution to be found, a path to be forged, even when it is not immediately visible. This belief fuels their persistence, their creativity, their willingness to take action. He walks directly into the heart of storms, not because he is blind to the looming danger, but because he possesses the unwavering inner knowledge that the sun still shines, powerfully and inevitably, behind even the darkest clouds. This profound, chosen optimism gives you vital energy, a vibrant internal force, and that energy is precisely what sustains forward motion when challenges mount. Without this fuel of optimism, even the most resolute courage becomes an exhausting, finite resource. You may start strong, propelled by initial bravery, but without a hopeful vision of possibility anchoring your efforts, your strength will inevitably wither, your resolve will falter. But when you consciously feed your mind, your spirit, your very being, with the potent fuel of possibility, when you choose to focus relentlessly on progress made rather than succumbing to the paralysis of demanding perfection, you build the deep, enduring endurance necessary for long-term victory, for navigating the long, arduous journey towards your most significant goals. Think of it vividly. Every goal you aspire to reach requires a journey to get there, and every journey, without exception, encounters storms, moments of fierce resistance, doubt, and difficulty. If your mind is perpetually filled with dread, with anticipation of worst-case scenarios, you will hesitate, falter, or retreat entirely at every crack of thunder, every flash of lightning. But if your heart is anchored firmly in hope, fueled by a resilient, chosen optimism, you will find the inner fortitude, the unwavering resolve to press on, to keep moving forward even when the path ahead is unclear, shrouded in mist and uncertainty. This is not mere fantasy or wishful thinking. It is powerful, practical strategy. Optimism is not the denial of challenging reality. It is the profound mastery of it, an internal declaration that says, with quiet power, yes, the situation before me is difficult, intensely hard, but I am harder in my resolve. Yes, the path is dauntingly steep, but I am climbing, one step at a time. Yes, the odds stacked against me appear long, but I am longer-willed. My spirit is more enduring than the resistance. Optimism is fundamentally a choice, a conscious decision you must make, deliberately and repeatedly, every single day, often multiple times a day. It is a mindset forged by what you consciously consume, the information you absorb, the influences you permit, by how you choose to speak about your circumstances, speaking possibility into existence rather than reinforcing limitation, by who you surround yourself with, aligning with those who challenge, inspire, and uplift you, rather than those who dwell in negativity, and by the thoughts you consistently entertain and empower within your own mind. Guard your mental gates with fierce vigilance, choosing carefully what you allow to take root. Every act of chosen optimism, every decision to see potential amidst difficulty, is an act of war against the corrosive power of fear. So what does cultivating this potent optimism actually look like in practice? It means hearing the voice of doubt, the chorus of naysayers declaring something impossible, and choosing instead to say, with quiet conviction, I will find a way, and then actively seeking that way. It means encountering failure, setback, or rejection, and choosing to see it immediately as invaluable information, as crucial feedback for refinement, rather than allowing it to be interpreted as a crushing final defeat that defines your worth or capability. It means expecting progress, consciously anticipating forward movement from your efforts, even if the visible results are not immediate and take time to manifest. It means standing tall in your belief, in your purpose when others around you retreat into comfort or doubt, and most profoundly, it means believing in the inherent possibility that lies ahead, believing with unwavering certainty that what lies before you is destined to be better, richer, more fulfilling than what lies behind, believing that your most impactful work, your greatest contribution, your highest potential is yet to come, believing at your core that you are unequivocally made for more than your current circumstances suggest. Optimism provides your courage with a compelling reason, a powerful fuel to keep going, to persist, to endure when the journey is long and arduous. It transforms your entire outlook on challenges. It fundamentally strengthens your resolve in the face of difficulty, and it powerfully sharpens your focus on solutions and forward movement. You were not born to be overwhelmed indefinitely by fear or circumstance. You were born with the innate capacity to rise above it, to transcend perceived limitations. The man or woman who chooses to live with this disciplined optimism is not just more cheerful or pleasant to be around. They are profoundly more dangerous to the power of fear and the forces of limitation, because they cultivate an inner resilience that cannot be easily broken by hardship, an unyielding spirit that cannot be permanently silenced by failure, a relentless drive that cannot be stopped indefinitely by delay. They see the daunting mountain before them, acknowledge its height and its difficulty, and choose to climb it anyway, step by deliberate step, sustained by the belief that the summit is attainable. Let that person, that force of nature be. Choose optimism not as a passive feeling you hope to possess, but as an active discipline you cultivate daily. Train your eyes, consciously and deliberately, to seek the good, the lesson, the opportunity in every situation. Train your mind to expect strength from adversity, to anticipate resilience within yourself. Train your heart to believe, fiercely and unshakably, in your capacity, in your purpose, in the possibility of your dreams, and with that potent, cultivated belief, you will become genuinely unstoppable. Because optimism is not weakness or naivete, it is rocket fuel, the powerful energy source, and with it your fearless living will know no bounds. It will expand, it will impact, it will create a reality aligned with your highest vision. There is a truth so fundamental, so powerful, so transformative, that internalizing it can quite literally alter the entire course of your life, reshaping your trajectory towards one of profound impact and fulfillment. This truth is simple, yet utterly potent. Your entire future, the quality of your life, the realization of your potential, hinges entirely and directly on your willingness starting now to act consistently without the debilitating constraint of fear as your master. Success is not a static object or a fortunate circumstance that passively awaits you in the distance, a far-off destination to be stumbled upon by sheer luck or random chance. It is something you actively build, deliberately and meticulously, day by day, choice by choice, action by action, and the raw, essential material of that powerful construction is fearlessness, the conscious decision to move forward despite the presence of fear. The extraordinary life you envision, the strong, capable, impactful man or woman you deep down wish to become, that future self is not hidden away, locked in the years ahead, magically appearing at some later date. That person is actively sculpted, forged into being, right here in this very moment by the actions you choose to take now, by the decisions you make today. Decide clearly, with vivid intention, who you wish to become, what you wish to stand for, what impact you wish to make. Define that future self in compelling, vivid detail. See his or her habits, their standards, their core strength, their unwavering discipline, their burning purpose. Once that powerful vision is crystal clear in your mind, you must do the one thing that most people instinctively avoid, the one thing that separates those who dream from those who achieve. You must move towards that vision, starting immediately and crucially without the paralyzing impediment of waiting for fear to dissipate. Do not wait until you feel ready, until the uncertainty vanishes, until the path is perfectly clear. The fear will almost certainly always be present, a signal on the edge of your comfort zone, but it is not your master unless you grant it that power. It is your test, an invitation to prove your resolve. Every great figure etched into the annals of history, every monumental achievement that has ever come to pass, every innovation that has reshaped the world, every personal triumph that inspires us all, each one began with a single defining, fearless decision. A moment when someone chose action over hesitation, purpose over fear, belief over doubt. Fearless decisions, taken consistently, are the true birthplace of destiny. They are the moments when potential solidifies into reality. You must internalize this fundamental truth. Your future is not a predetermined outcome that simply happens to you, like the weather. It is something you actively, consciously, powerfully create, and it is created fundamentally in this moment, the present. What you choose to do today, the actions you take, the decisions you make, the habits you reinforce, these directly shape what becomes possible for you tomorrow. What you choose to think, how you choose to act, what you dare to say or create, and what you resolutely refuse to delay out of fear or discomfort. These are the indispensable building blocks of a life of greatness. Most people, sadly, will never fully realize this profound power inherent in the present moment. They will drift passively through life, waiting for the right moment that never arrived. They will let fear, doubt, and uncertainty have the final defining say in their choices, and in doing so, they tragically surrender their future potential to chance, to circumstance, to the unpredictable tides of external events. But you are not most people. You have heard the truth. You have seen the potential that lies within you, and with that truth comes immense responsibility, the responsibility to act in alignment with your highest self. You know now, with undeniable clarity, that every moment, every decision point is a crucial fork in the road, a chance to either lean boldly into courage, into action, into growth, or to retreat instinctively back into the comfortable, limiting confines of your current comfort zone. Your destiny is not mysteriously written in the stars, dictated by fate. It is forged deliberately and powerfully in your choices, in the actions you take right here, right now. Each time you choose to act boldly, to move forward with clear purpose despite fear, to speak your truth even when your voice trembles, you actively align your life's trajectory with greatness, with impact, with the realization of your highest potential. Each time you resist the urge to delay, each time you consciously confront your fear and take the crucial step that scares you most, you are actively creating a future, a self, that you can look back on with immense pride and profound satisfaction. The extraordinary life you desire, the one that feels just beyond your grasp, is not reserved exclusively for the lucky, the privileged, or the exceptionally gifted. It is reserved without exception for the brave, for those willing to face their fears and act anyway. So begin today. Make the decision to start, to move. Take that courageous first step, however small or uncertain it feels. Start the business you've dreamed of. Initiate the difficult but necessary conversation. Speak the idea that burns within you into existence. Change the limiting habit. Break the unproductive pattern. Do not look around for permission from others. Do not wait for external validation to give you the green light. Look within. Access the courage that resides there and move. You are the sole powerful architect of your fate, and the essential tools, courage, choice, action are already firmly in your hands, waiting to be utilized. Fear will always knock at the door of your potential, but if you act with courage, greatness will answer first, and fear will find no entry. Let your decisions today, in this moment, reflect the man or woman you are actively becoming. Let your actions declare with quiet power, I am worthy. I am willing to do what is required, because the future you dream of, the extraordinary life you envision, is not some distant, unattainable reality. It is simply one fearless step away, waiting for you to claim it. Choose with your entire heart and soul to embrace fearlessness not as a fleeting feeling, but as your fundamental standard, your default way of being. Let this principle echo in every area of your life, in your work, in your relationships, in the pursuit of your purpose, in the clarity and pursuit of your vision. And as you consistently choose courage over comfort, action over hesitation, watch your life begin to transform, reflecting not just incremental progress, but exponential power, not just temporary success, but profound significance. You deserve the extraordinary life that awaits you, the full expression of your potential, but you must actively claim it. And the only way to claim it is to act without fear, starting now in this moment. Embrace fearlessness as your guiding principle, and watch your most audacious dreams cease to be distant possibilities and begin to unfold, inevitably into your tangible reality. Act now, for your limitless future is forged in this very moment.